Vermont legend yesterday, and I'm actually sitting on the structure for which he is famous. His name is Stoney Mason, and I'd love to tell you a little bit about him. But first, maybe a little bit about how I like to travel. I love history, I love genealogy, and I love it when I can mix the two together. And not just my own family history, but I like learning the history of people that I meet and friends, and just kind of fill in the blanks for them about where they came from, a little bit about their roots. So yesterday was that perfect opportunity to mix the two. Some of you may have been following Nathan and Marissa as they explore Alaska, and a few episodes ago they talked about finding out information and recommendations from locals. Well, nothing gets more local than this guy that we met yesterday. He's unofficially known as the mayor of Starksboro, and he's legendary because he's built hundreds and hundreds of stone walls throughout Vermont, and in particular around Starksboro. He was born in 1931. I know that my friend here has hired him back in his younger days to help with repairing and building stone walls that exist on her property, and she has built some right alongside of him. He is just a wonderful man to be with. He's just got a great attitude about life, and he's just filled with joy. So we sat down for about 30 minutes and had a nice chat with him.
Well, I'm good. What's new with you?
I'm dead.
You're dead?
Yeah.
Yeah, just sitting here watching the world
Yeah,
go by,
I'm
huh?
dead.
Do you mind if I video you?
Nah.
Okay.
I was born over to the red house on the end over here. On the end of the street. That red house right there, the last one. Right there. Yeah.
That's where you were born?
Yeah.
And then you moved here when you were 8 years old?
Yeah. Moved over here when I was 8 years old.
So you always been in Starksboro?
Yeah. My daddy paid $2,100 for the place, 50 acres of land with the trees, woods, and whatever. Now the taxes are
Yeah, higher than that.
yeah. Oh, God.
How did you get into the stonework?
Who
taught you?
Right here was the first one.
Oh, was it?
And he's a little tinkering there. Now, and then I did the other one on the other side the next year.
Who taught you?
Nobody.
Nobody?
No. Then I worked in a sawmill for Bob Printon down here. I worked in the sawmill, and then pretty soon they kept seeing that wall and said, "Oh, come do one for me." Gee, I had to quit then, and I went full time everywhere. Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, boy.
Remember when I was trying to learn how to do the stone walls?
Oh, God.
I'd give him an idea once in a while. I'd say, well, maybe if you turn that rock over, and he'd look at me like, who the hell do you think you are?
Put it right back in the same place where she had it.
Down to Washington, D.C.
Yeah,
They did a Smithsonian demo.
Got the thing in there.
Like a trophy or
on the wall in there.
Uh-huh.
In the living room, yeah. Went up Montpelier, big door up there, and they escorted me in. Yeah.
You're the big guy, huh?
Yeah.
The big cheese.
Oh, God. Yeah.
So what else? What other story are you going to tell us?
I told a few lies, too.
Told a few lies.
Yeah.
How old are you now?
Huh?
How old are you now?
Of course, I don't know that.
What year were you born?
What year were you born?
I don't know. Sometimes. I don't know when. Yeah.
What are you, about 80, 85?
I know, 87. 87, yeah.
Okay.
Down here in Colorado. And they moved up here on Mason Hill. My grandfather, I can't remember the year, but they had 10 kids. They lost a set of twins, but my grandmother used to do everything.
On the stone walls at the Gordon's house
Oh,
around the corner. And when I called him, he was busy, and he goes, "Oh, jeekers creakers, I drive by that pile of stones on the way to the Gordons, and I just Ricky and I have been saying we just wanted to build that wall, remember?
Yeah.
Because it was just like a rubble pile of
Yeah.
stones that had fallen apart.
Oh, God, you get
One of my hobbies is genealogy, so I took the opportunity to do a little bit of background investigating about where his name comes from, in fact. His name, David, he's actually named after, and I'm not even sure he knows this, but he's actually named after his great-great-grandfather and his great-great-great-grandfather. I'm actually not sure when his family came here from New Hampshire, but I do know that his third great-grandfather served for 6 months in the Continental Army and during the Revolutionary War, and I found his application for a pension when he was in his 80s. Don't know if he ever got it. I hope he did. With me, one thing always leads to another. So not being satisfied with that, I wanted to learn more about stone wall building in New England. And there's a great book called Stone by Stone. And I just read a few excerpts from the book talking about the origin of the stones. And of course, I know I have a degree in earth science, so I know about geology, but I hadn't really given much thought to how the stones came to the surface after the glaciers retreated, because the glaciers, yes, they leave billions of rocks behind as they melt and retreat. But how did those rocks then, after thousands of years of soil building, how did they get to the surface? Well, I didn't realize that as the forests around here were cleared, that exposed the soils to colder temperatures. So there was deeper freezing. So as the soils were frozen more deeply, that then caused the upheaval of these large rocks. So that is what exposed the rocks to the surface and meant that the people who were moving into these areas during the early 1800s, they had to remove those from the fields to either graze their animals or to grow crops, and so that's what they did. If you are ever in Starksboro, Vermont, I highly recommend you see if Stoney is out on his bench holding court, and if he is, stop and have a chat and hear his wonderful stories. He still has an amazing memory. I will treasure this opportunity I've had to meet such an amazing American iconic figure. Thanks for watching.